If you're new to fishing, you've probably heard the term monofilament thrown around once or twice before. Now in this video, we're going to discuss what monofilament is, what it costs, and what it can do for you. Alright, so let's get started. Hey you, this is me, A.D. Ross with Novi Outdoors. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back, y'all. See, I knew it was just a matter of time before you'd be back, but it's neither here nor there. Anyways, if you like the content depicted in this video, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button because we're going to be putting out cool stuff like this all the time, and we want you to be here for it. Don't forget either that there's going to be links to other videos pertaining to the topic of this discussion down in the description if you want to check those out as well. Just kind of catch yourself up on what we're doing here because it's awesome and I want you to be a part of it. Alright? So, monofilament, or fishing line rather, is an important tool. And I want to call it tool because I look at it like that. Just like choosing the rod and the reel, it's something that you're going to be using every time you go out, so it's important to choose the right one. Now, monofilament is great for beginners because it is cheap. Okay? It's, well, we won't say cheap. We'll say cost effective. How about that? But it's not going to break the bank when you're just starting. And you don't want to break the bank when you're just starting because you don't even know if you're going to like it yet. Well, I'm hoping you're going to like it. I'm trying to make it so you like it because it's a lot of fun. And I'd like you to get into it, all seriousness. But it doesn't break the bank. It's real cost effective. So you can get a whole spool of this stuff for about $1.50, $2. And this is the Zebco brand. This is the lowest of the low. So this is just to get you into it, get you enough, right? This is 250 yards. You know what 250 yards looks like? That's 2.5 football fields, man. You ever play football? It's a big deal. It's a long bit of line. Anyways, you ain't gonna use all that in a whole year. Mark my words for it. But it's cost effective. It casts real smooth. It holds knots real well. And we like to tie knots here at Novi Outdoors. So make sure you check out some of those videos. It stretches. There's a whole lot of colors that you can get. And it floats. Now we'll get to that in a second. But the color I wanted to point out. Now with monofilament, if you're wondering what the mono meant, it's one. It's a single strand of material. So if you get into other ones, they start implementing, different types of materials into the lines, and then you get into some other lines that they're all weaved together, and it gets crazy. But we're starting with the mono, so it's one line, one strand, one material, and it's real stretchy, so it allows a little freedom of movement there. There's some play in it involved, and you're not going to hang up, snag, and it's good to catch fish on, okay? Now, regarding the amount of test that you want to go with, just starting out, I've got a couple figures here set aside that I'm going to read off of. So it depends on what fish you're going for. But if you went, you got to think about test about the size of the fish that you're going to be reeling in, okay? So with the 2 to 4 pound test, it's going to be good for the little bitty panfish, right? Like bluegill or shell crackers, or there's some others out there that I can mention, but it's kind of pointless at this point right now. The little bitty fish, okay? And then the 4 to 6 pounds is good for the trout, the rainbow trout, the ones that are all in the brooks and the streams up in the northern areas. Then the 6 to 8 pounds is the walleye, okay? 8 to 10 pounds, we're getting into the bass, baby, and we do love bass at Novi Outdoors. You're going to find that out real soon, though, real soon. So the amount of test that you want to use for your fishing adventures is going to depend on the type of fish that you're going for. So I typically run a 10-pound test like the one we reeled up, and I'll include a card so you can check that out when we spooled the reel with the line. It was 10-pound test, the same Zebco brand, and I've been fishing with it ever since. It's been at least 2 weeks, and it's doing awesome, I gotta tell you. So the 10-pound test, you got to think that the thicker the test, the heavier the test, the thicker the diameter. Now, what I mean about the diameter is the diameter, the size of it, right? So each reel is unique to and of itself. So it'll even tell you, now I would show you mine, but typically they've got some figures on here that tell you how many pound test and how much you can fit on there. Now, I've never counted how much line I'm putting on my reel, because you can just kind of tell, like I mentioned back in that last video. I'll put another card up there for you so you can check it out. But you don't want to reel it all the way. I mean, you don't want to spool it all the way on your reel because it's just too much. It's going to be flying off everywhere, and you don't need all that. You don't need all that nonsense, okay? But it's going to limit the amount of line that you can put on the reel. So you got to pay attention to that, okay? And when we get into some of the other lines, you're going to notice that the diameter shrinks a little bit, but it gets stronger, which is kind of cool. So we'll get into that in a couple videos later on in this series about fishing line. So just hang on tight, and we're going to do it together, okay? But for the monofilament, that's all I really wanted you guys to know at this point in time. It's a lot of information, and I want to ask you guys if you use monofilament, and if so, what pound test do you use, and for what species of fish? If you could let me know in the comments, that'd be a great way to start some discussion to help some new guys here figure it out what it is you guys are targeting and what kind of pound test that you're using in your setups. That'll be a real big help when we kind of get it going from there, so people can kind of identify what it is they're trying to put on their rods and reels. Okay, so I want to get this discussion going. If you could just answer that question for me: what pound test do you use, and what kind of fish are you targeting? Okay, so that'll be a good one. But like I say, if you like the content depicted in this video, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm going to drop a little button out here for you, and just follow along to another video, and we'll be back with you soon. I want you guys to remember that in the beginning, we all had to start somewhere. Be kind and treat each other with respect, all right? Thank you for stopping by. I look forward to seeing you again soon.